Go on over here to Todd Arno's place.
Oh, it's a great one, which I was thinking of before we started.
But while we drive over, what other parcels are you looking at?
That's kind of a secret.
Oh, it is? Okay.
If we told everybody what we were interested in, the fear would be that other people would try to beat us to the punch.
Is that a problem for you?
I don't know that it's a problem. But
with all the development that's going on here, you would think that they would be chomping at the bit to get some of these pieces.
Absolutely, and we have to compete for those pieces, and so the less competition we have, the better. So that's the reason we don't talk about prior to purchase. That's why the land bank commissioners do their real estate negotiating in executive session behind closed doors. It's one of the few reasons you're allowed to do things behind closed doors, is because real estate and negotiating for real estate is time sensitive and information sensitive. So
now, how do you find the properties then?
We get owners that realize they think they have a property that should become a public property. It used to be a lot of the old Nantucket folks came to us because they didn't want to see a castle go up on their property, and they would love the idea that if the land bank bought it, it would get preserved. So we had a lot of people come to us over time that really cared about Nantucket and wanted to see their property not turn into a magnificent summer home necessarily.
Well, that goes back to what we started talking about initially. I mean, it actually makes a lot of good sense for a community that has a lot of open space that wants to preserve it to have a land bank.
And you look at, sometimes realtors get concerned that we're taking real estate off the market or something, and demand for real estate activity on Nantucket is fantastic. I think is a testament to the desirability of Nantucket for several reasons, but one, the amount of open space we have and the beauty, the natural beauty of the island, which we've been able to preserve. And I have to give huge credit to the forefathers at the Nantucket Conservation Foundation, who started in the late 50s, early 60s, buying vast tracts and getting people to donate vast tracts of land to the Conservation Foundation, because they've preserved 30% of the island single-handedly, which is just phenomenal.
I know.
We're at about 8% now.
Right.
So their foresight to have started that back in the 60s was tremendous.
Who knew that there was a piece of property this size where that little building was?
It's pretty incredible. This is Todd Arno's property that I believe he got from his parents.
How much did you guys give him for that?
This property cost us $5.6 million. We paid dearly for it.
Wow.
But it's what it took to get the property. It actually is.
What if that was on the open market, that property?
Well,
would it have gotten that much?
It probably would have. We had an assessment of market value done, and that price
amazing. Fell
sort of in the middle of the range of low to high pricing of it. One of the driving factors was that the property is actually subdividable. It actually is two lots. So this on paper is two properties.
Was there competition involved for you on this?
We were dealing directly with the owner, and whether or not he had other people vying for it at the time, I don't think he was quite there yet. He was optimistic that we would work something out. I think he actually was wanting to see the land bank own it. The house was the building that was on the property was in terrible shape. It had been neglected for a long time. One of the reasons being that he didn't have the permits in place to renovate the structure, because he would have needed a Chapter 91 license, which would have required public access onto the property. But it was a very difficult negotiation for the land bank, but it's such an important property for the downtown and for visitors and the public to be able to get onto the water, see the water, enjoy the views.
What are you going to do with it?
We don't have a permanent design yet for a park. This summer we'll do some very simple improvements. We'll grass it over, put a few benches on on it and go with that, because any significant work will require a Chapter 91 license, which will start that process shortly with a landscape architect.
Incredible. Good move, man.
You know,
I think everybody is just thrilled about this.
There was a little bit of controversy about the building being a historic building, and it was an old building, and so
yeah. But I mean, now we get access to the view. Everybody does.
Absolutely, and people will be able to sit there with their feet hanging over the edge, you know, enjoying the water and for forever. You know, what would have happened to that building if it had been sold privately? The building would have been torn down or unrecognizable. It would have been converted into a couple of first floor retail shops and luxury apartments over it, and basically be gone forever from the public's point of view.
Do you want me to go anywhere here? Is there anything you want to show me?
This way, probably not. I would say we could roll out to either East Creek Road or by our Island Home, or
all right, yeah, let's do that. That's a good one, because I got to ask you about that.
All right.
All right. Oh, she's letting me go. There he is. So the board makes all these decisions. You work for the board, just like Libby works for the
we've got a
selectmen.
Five-member elected
five-member board
commission.
And they decide on the properties?
They takes a majority vote of those commissioners to vote to acquire and what to pay. So those.
Now we got to talk about the golf courses.
I think that might be on the agenda.
Yeah, you know, people want set them straight. Set us straight. What's the story? You want to? I mean, you got some blowback because of the price of the one out in Myacomet, right? The clubhouse is expensive.
Yep.
Is that are we gonna go with that price, or are we gonna?
Well, there is no price right now. There's no plan.
Okay.
It's a planning process that has been a bumpy road. There's differences of opinion on the board about what should happen, and so we're sort of right at the very beginning of that process. We've had some false starts, and so there's no plan in place, and there's no number associated with any future clubhouse. There's no vote to build a new clubhouse yet. You know, the history of Myacomet's really interesting. It was one of the first purchases the land bank made, the golf course, the 9-hole golf course that was built by Ralph Marble, and was slated for development. It came close to being a couple hundred lots subdivision, and Nantucketers would have lost the only public golf course at the time. Actually, the only, I believe, Skinner's Sconset Golf Course was public as well, but it was a very popular asset for recreation and for golfers, and the land bank was able to step in and buy the golf course and keep it a golf course, which would have been lost forever.
Right.
And we actually amended the act at that time. I wasn't here, but the act was amended to include recreation back then.
Right.
So the land bank's empowered to do open space, recreation, and agriculture. Those are our three permitted purposes. And so Myacomet, we were able to step in and preserve it. And since that time, we added 9 holes on what was previously a farm field. So now you've got an 18-hole course. The new holes were so nice that we had to rebuild the old holes because those were built by the farmer, Ralph Marble, and were very basic. And so now we've got a brand new 18 holes out there of world-class golf. People just absolutely rave about the conditions and the course itself. We've got.
Well, so what do you think the issue is then? Well, if you've got the money to make it nicer, what's the issue?
I think things came to a head because, the newspaper pointed out something that had been largely sort of, I don't know if you'd say ignored, but we had 3 land bank commissioners who happened to be members or their immediate family members were members of Myacomet Golf Course. So there was a perceived conflict of interest there. Yeah. And that was never really an issue until we started talking about potentially.
It never is until
a very potentially very expensive clubhouse came to the fore, and so we've been working through that. We've been working with the State Ethics Commission, helping sort out what is a conflict and what isn't a conflict when it relates to golf. And several land bank commissioners have actually resigned their memberships at Myacomet so that they don't have a conflict. we're also at the end of, and it was just in the paper today in the INM. This year, 2016, is the last year of our existing current management contract for Myacomet. So we have to re-up our management going forward for the next 3 to 5 years. And before doing that, we've brought in a firm to help us assess how the operation's running today, and then help us develop a better management contract and help guide us in forming our future.
You want to go that way?
Yeah, this is our Island Home property.
But you don't want this?
Well, we have no idea what the town's plans are for it. It's too early to know whether the land bank's going to be a player in the future of the property. Absolutely, and because we own just down East Creek Road here, a lovely property, this is potentially a logical property for us to own in the future. But there's a lot of things in the air with it. But
before we talk about this piece, what about Skinner's now?
Oh, let me just finish out with so we've brought in this consultant to help us assess the current operation, make sure we're on track and we're doing everything as well as we could, or if not, help recommend how we might make things better, and then also help us move forward with the next management time frame, whether it be 3 years to 5 years. How should we manage the course going forward? So as part of that, we realized we better take a step back from the clubhouse planning, have this really great firm come in with tons and tons of experience all over the country with golf courses, learn all about how Myacomet works right now and what the commissioner's goals are, and then also help us with this clubhouse planning effort and help guide us and help us make some informed decisions about what should happen with the existing clubhouse, because it is inevitably a big ticket item. We're public, so public procurement kicks in, drives the price up. There's the Nantucket factor in construction, so no matter what we do, if it's a new building or even a renovation, it's going to be pretty costly. The land bank can probably afford it, although it would compete with some land purchases.
Why not just do it modestly?
That's on the table.
Because if you increase it, aren't you going to increase fees?
Well, that's a whole complicated,
because even though you're the land bank, you're now like running a golf course.
Absolutely, we have been since around 2000 when we expanded the course. So, I think that one of the goals should be to keep golf affordable. We don't want to drive the price up and make it unaffordable. It's a public golf course. It does have a membership, but it's a public golf course with a membership, and one of the goals should be to keep it affordable. So trying to balance the facilities and what members want with keeping it affordable and not having it be a drain on the land bank is all part of the equation, which hopefully our consultants will help us.
Well, that's why you have a board too, and you have a board that is part of the community, and they, that's why they're there. They'll make a decision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Now, what about Skinner's?
Skinner's, we just got done renovating the old, what was the clubhouse there, a historic building up on the hill, and that's been fully restored. And we have made, our management team has made some great improvements to the course since we've taken it over.
That's truly public.
Fully public. The folks that join Myacomet and pay for a membership at Myacomet get, as a throw-in, they get membership at Sconset.